Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of Gorcom, in which we take the time to speak with small cap CEOs after they put out important news. With us today, he's back again, Rob Anson, CEO, Loop Insights, trades in the venture under the stock symbol MTRX, and for our friends in the US under RACMF. The big press release today, I'm going to read you a headline. Loop Insights enters the 5-store pilot agreement with Sobeys, Canada's second largest grocer, to deliver digital receipts via Loop's Wallet Pass technology. Rob, welcome back.
George, thanks for having me today.
Hey, congratulations on this news. Another great pilot. Before we get into the details, I just want to read the quote from the Chief Information Officer at Sobeys, and I'm going to read the first sentence as, Loop Insights' diverse suite of services was an obvious fit for Sobeys as we look to drive consumer engagement and close gaps in our personalization of the customer experience. Even though it's announced as a pilot, I read that was an obvious fit. It sounds like, and you maybe can shed some light on this, Sobeys almost has made their decision. This is just their due diligence just to make sure the thing works.
Well, most definitely. I mean, when you look at a pilot, it's exactly that. I mean, there was a lab process to go through to ensure that we're not going to shut down our operation. Now with the live in-store pilots, yeah, they're checking the boxes, looking to see what they need to do on their end for integration and whatnot. But no, it's a great fit. I mean, I've always said that grocery and convenience are two huge verticals for us because you've got various disparate data sources, as they call it, multiple point of sale systems within. Sobeys has 7 or 8 different brands under Empire, their umbrella. So it's it's a perfect fit, huge opportunity for sure. People need to understand that chains do not do full national rollouts without lab testing approval and sign off for our in-store pilots. We have had a few people today that, whoop-de-doo, Rob, call me when you've got a national rollout. Well, that doesn't happen overnight. There are processes.
We'll call you. You'll just miss it, but we'll definitely.
Sure, right. So no, this is a very significant opportunity for the company and its shareholders.
So how big of an opportunity is this? Because we do know that Sobeys under the Empire branded about $28 billion in revenue. They got 1,500 stores. I would presume, what's the average cash registers? I mean, why go into they got at least 10 cash registers going. So how big of an opportunity do you think this is, assuming all goes well?
Well, it's very interesting because it's multifaceted here. It's Fobi, right? It's real-time data, insights, and analytics. And then the cherry on top to me is the Wallet Pass. It's that next evolution of loyalty. All of these companies are headed towards personalization. And the only way you're able to achieve that is to be able to segment data in real time. I know George is in the store. I can now query in the back end, which Loop does, what are all of the promotions and in-store activations that are running or that are relevant to George's purchase history. So now this is how we get to the means of personalization. We now understand your shopping habits, your shopping interests and trends, and your various brand loyalties. Obviously, you see they have their own product lines as well. So it becomes very, very powerful. And the fact that we can now redeem those at the till, promotions, and then retarget you to drive, whether it's online or back in store again, curating this personalized shopping experience and journey is something that they're all trying to achieve. And, it just happens that this is a perfect fit for us.
How long do you think this pilot will be, if you're allowed to discuss that? 5 stores, probably 10 registers. So you got 50 registers going. 60 days, 90 days. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, 60 days.
All right. If all goes well, in previous press releases, you've kind of laid out the details pertain to pricing models. I know it's basic, but one number you've used is $50 per register. So in this case, if they've got about 1,500 stores multiplied by 10, that's 15,000 tills. I'm reading off my math at $50 a month. That's $750,000 a month. That's $9 million a year. Does that look like decent back of the napkin math? Or you've also mentioned in the past that there's more on top of that when you start factoring in other elements like.
Well, there is. That's the starting point. So, I mean, that's for the core base Fobi and insights. And as we said, as we move towards loyalty and receipting, it's of course onboarding the Sobeys shoppers into that wallet pass. So obviously we get paid for each and every pass that's established and onboarded. Then we'll also participate in a lot of the data monetization capabilities for the promotions and messaging and the brand side. And the CPG play here becomes very, very interesting to me, obviously from a marketing perspective, because now they've got marketing with a true ROI and attribution. They've got campaign performance, in-store activation metrics. You've got that full granular 360 view. And more importantly, we provide the feedback loop, pardon the pun.
This must have gotten a lot of notice in the grocery vertical. I mean, Sobeys is a major player in North America, I would assume too. They're not, even though they're Canadian and all 1,500 plus stores are in Canada, that's a major player. Has this attracted the attention of, or is it too early? It's only been a few hours, but has this attracted the attention of the grocery vertical?
Yeah, it is. I've received emails already. Obviously, as we do business over in the UK and Europe now with Steve Gray and all the projects and pilots we got going there. Sobeys is a global brand. It just is. I mean, I had a lot of congratulations from different groups that we're in discussions with as well. Obviously, a company like this brings great third-party validation and credibility to what we're doing. It's as we say, it's another important piece of the puzzle that will leverage and it'll assist us, enable us to close on other deals simply because of obviously the association with Empire and Sobeys brand.
And you brought up the other pilots that are going on. This is your first big Canadian pilot, right? This is a major, but you've had other pilots in the US where your CBD store, you closed that one for 550 locations. You've got the ones going on in the UK. How are those going? It might be a good time just do a quick, are they still ongoing and is everything going according to plan?
Yeah, no, they're going great. They're all expanding. So it's great to see, like I said, this is really the first opportunity with Sobeys where it's been the full gamut of the Loop product suite. I mean, as you saw in the press release, it's Fobi, it's the insights, it's the engage, it's the wallet pass. This is truly redefining the customer shopping experience and the way owners and operators now are able to understand and leverage data to monetize it by creating better customer experiences, by creating operational efficiencies. And of course, at the end of the day, it's all about the CPG advertising and marketing dollars.
So if you guys did this, if everything, again, I always say with a caution, because I have to say it, if the pilot goes fine, we don't have a reason to believe it's not, you're going to be deeply integrated into the Sobeys entire shopping experience. I mean, probably deeper than even Visa or MasterCard, who are just point of sale, credit and debit cards, right? I mean, you guys may be the most deeply integrated partner at Sobeys if this works out.
Yeah, and I mean, really, at the end of the day, George, it's about leveraging the data, right? How do we action the data? I mean, these companies, as you can imagine, 25 billion in sales or whatever. I mean, they've got data coming out of the yin yang. It's how do you, create that real time monetization strategy that creates a better shopping experience, and as I mentioned, the whole gamut of operational efficiencies and guest and consumer experiences. Loyalty is the big one for sure.
I mean, if you were to impact their sales by just 1%, if you just drove George back enough times in the year that he increases purchase by 1% at Sobeys throughout the year, you'd have a $2.8 billion impact on their revenue. Is that a real rudimentary way of looking at it? Or
and that's actually that's pretty funny that you mentioned that, because I use that in I said that the average here of real-time data according to McKinsey is anywhere between 11 to 13%. So obviously the group that I was talking to is even bigger than Sobeys in the US, where 1%, to your point, was about 4.8 billion. So never mind if it's 1%, what if they're wrong by 90%? and I can deliver you 1% operational efficiencies and profitability. And they start looking at those numbers, and yeah, 1% is almost $5 billion. Right?
How should shareholders, what you think shareholders might be almost taken for granted? Pilot. You know, what should they be really understanding about? We're just seeing Sobeys and pharmacists, but we've got to assume that this means you're talking to a lot of companies, a lot of organization enterprises.
Yep. I'm not worried about it at all. I mean, it like I said, George, you know me well enough now that this is all process. This is all a 3-year roadmap. Like I said, I think a lot of people perhaps take it for granted. The fact that we can walk in and enter into agreement like this, I can assure you that these sell cycles are usually extremely long. And see the speed that we're able to, enter in these capture interest and excitement, and then to paper, formalize an agreement. It's great, bodes well for the future. And like I said, are we getting in 100% of all these? No, but I'm pretty confident that we'll be hitting 80%, 90% all day long, because this is wash, rinse, repeat. And the problems, and now that the economies are starting to open in the US, as you saw with Nevada, it's perfect for us. I mean, like I said, this is a long game here. I don't get too excited up and down day by day. I'm focused on delivering long-term shareholder value. And we'll hit that point when the light will go off and people will say, oh, wow, this was a big moment. Today is a big moment.
Your pilots in the in the UK came from Steve Gray partnerships. Did Sobeys come about from TELUS or any other partnerships?
No. This came internally. So we've got TELUS has been great, as you've seen from our other ones, and we've got some pretty great projects that are pretty close there as well to some next opportunities. But no, this came from internally. This is, there's interesting opportunities when groups are looking for real-time applications, and it is. We're the only company out there that provides real-time to the hundredths of a second data capabilities today, and that's where the world is going. And without that ability to connect those interoperable data points, they'll never get to personalization, because they can't action the data quick enough. You're in store for 21 minutes. You got to be able to understand when George is in store, what's relevant to George, how do we drive wallet share and spend, and that's through personalization and familiarity.
In previous, so we won't really talk about it again. In previous press interviews, I've asked, what's your competition like when you walk into a place like Sobeys? Who else? But in this, reading that quote again, Loop was an obvious fit. It's that sentence, or those couple of words there almost tell me, when you guys are walking in, there isn't anybody else. I mean, you've said it, but it seems pretty obvious, pardon the pun, from this quote, that there isn't anybody else. That's why you're an obvious fit to a $28 million enterprise.
The key thing here, George, is of course there's other people. Other people provide part of the solution. Just like one of my calls last week around, an NHL team, it was, well, we went with Clear for a league to try to reopen. But that was a huge mistake, because it's just another app. It's just another friction point for the consumer. It's another data point that we have no ability to access and further along. Everything we do is about providing a complete end-to-end solution. We do what we do very well. We fill holes and gaps, really, at the end of the day. We're able to take, in this case, Sobeys has some amazing assets already. We're simply able now, with the Wallet Pass, able to connect all of those to provide that interoperable gateway point, if you will, that brings them all to life and enhances them to make a unified shopping experience possible. So there are other people out there that do pieces of what we do. But for us, it's the real key is unlocking the data, providing that real-time action strategy is everything. I mean, you've heard me say for the last few months now, real time. Today's contract, it was the power of real time.
Last question for you. We didn't get a chance to talk about this when you're in Nevada from the floor of Mandalay Bay there. But a big thing that happened, because we were talking about partnership earlier, is Vend, who's been a great partner for you, is being acquired by Lightspeed for $350 million. And we haven't had a chance to flesh out what the implications are, because I'm reading, quote, Lightspeed will serve as the technology partner of choice for over 135,000 customer locations worldwide. How does the Lightspeed acquisition of Vend change your relationship, where maybe they're saying, hey, Rob, we've got our own guys, and thanks for coming out, or does it make it stronger?
No, it's most definitely stronger. Obviously, if you heard our podcast with Lowry, they're very focused on point of value, bringing in best of breed product offerings, if you will. Some of the other solutions, you got 150 solutions to choose from, right? Vend really looks and does their due diligence on the added value. They listen to their customers, right? Where are holes and gaps, and then they go find solutions that can provide that. So the Lightspeed opportunity now is great. I mean, we've already had conversations with them. Obviously they have some products that are some overlays as to what it is we do, but you got to understand that at the end of the day, it's our real-time reporting, dynamic capabilities, and then with the wallet pass, digital receiving, it's many points of value here, George.
We're almost at the end of the first quarter of 2021, and in your press release summing up 2020, you said that 2021 would be the same magnitudinal kind of jump that 2020 was over 2019. You think 2021 is going to leave 2020 in the dust. Are you still on track for that? You feel confident that you guys are going to achieve that kind of success?
Yeah, we will, because like we say now, I mean, to date, we've done a great job of creating interest. Now, I mean, obviously, as you see someone tell us and other licenses and other deals we've done that are actually revenue generating now, it gets stronger. I mean, yeah, I know it, of course, that's what the investors are waiting for. Hey, Rob, this looks great, but show me the money, right? So for us, like I said, I think the next quarter here leads us into great momentum. We've got a few other deals that are same size and magnitude of this that, are kind of game changing to the company. And I think when we start to look at direction for Q3, Q4, that's most definitely what I'm focused on.
Thanks for joining us, Rob. Congratulations again on, a 5-store pilot agreement with Sobeys, Canada's second largest grocery chain. That's a big win, and looking forward to having you back again. I mean, we just had you from Vegas. Now we have you here, and I'm assuming next 2, 3, 4 weeks, you're going to have something for us again.
Yeah, we'll see you soon, George.
For everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, your favorite podcast platform. To Rob Anson, CEO of Loop Insights, trades on the venture exchange under MTRX, and for our friends in the US under RACMF. For those of you who are new, you got to do your due diligence. One great way to do that, get to Agoracom, take a look at the profile page for Loop, because we know that this kind of cutting edge technology isn't always the easiest thing to understand, but that's also what comes with companies that are disruptive and potentially creating brand new markets. And make sure from there you hop over the Loop Insights website to do your due diligence and hopefully discover your next great small cap company. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. See you next time.